Well, good evening. Welcome to Grover Hill Zion United Methodist Church, Thursday evening devotions from around the kitchen table. Tonight, I'd like to just share with you a story that can be found in 1 Kings chapter 20. Now, this is an abridged story, but it's still, hopefully, I've hit the essence of the story. Actually, they're telling us that things are starting to go downhill now in our country. The economy and other things are falling apart. And so I think it's do us well just to refresh our memories a little bit about God. Well, when we think about life going down, life does have its up and downs, doesn't it? Has its peaks and its valley, the good times and the bad times. And when everything's going well, it's like we're on cloud 9. It's like we're up in the air, our heads are in the clouds. It's like we're standing on a mountaintop somewhere. It's on the mountaintop that good things happen. On the mountaintop, Moses had an encounter with God. It was on the mountaintop that Jesus took Peter, James, and John, and they witnessed Jesus and Moses and Elijah being transformed right before their very eyes. And then Peter, James, and John, they didn't want to leave that mountaintop because they had witnessed the power of God. They'd witnessed the presence of God. And they'd heard the voice of God. They didn't want to come back down that mountain. They just wanted to stay up there and live the easy life. And Jesus knew that it wasn't good for them to stay up there on that mountain. And he wouldn't let them stay up there. He made them come down. Jesus, the Jews believed that the higher up you went, that the closer to God you would be. And that's true, isn't it? The higher up we go. Listen, I've been in an airplane at 35,000, 40,000 feet or so. And God's up there, all right. I can witness to that. But God is down here where I'm at, too. He's right down here with my feet on the ground. He's with me each step of the way. You ever thought that everyone who goes up that mountain eventually has to come down that mountain? For some reason. Nobody can ever stay up there. They always have to come down. And when they do, they come back down that mountain and they discover that God may have been God up there, but he's still God down here too. Well, and that's the story in 1 Kings chapter 20. Ben-Hadad was the king of the Arameans, or modern-day Syria. He attacked Israel, and his armies far outnumbered the Israeli army by many times. And yet God gave the Israeli army an overwhelming victory over the armies of King Hadad and the Arameans. After his defeat, Ben-Hadad ordered that his army be replaced, man for man, horse for horse, chariot for chariot, so that they could attack Israel in the springtime when they would be down working in the valleys below. You see, the king of the Arameans said that the God of Israel was the God in the hills. That's why Israel was too powerful for them. That's why Israel defeated them, because their God was the God of the mountain. In the springtime, we will attack them with a new army, with new leaders. And Israel in the valleys, then we will defeat them because their God is only the God of the hills. And of course, God heard this and he knew their plans, and he was upset, and he promised Israel, he said, you tell the king of Israel, King Ahab, that because they think I'm only God in the mountains and not God in the hills, I'm going to give you another tremendous victory over the Aramean army. And he did. He did. The Syrian army, or the Aramean army, found out that God was not only God of the hills, God of the mountain, but he was still God in the valley as well. Because God did indeed give Israel another tremendous victory over the Aramean army. Well, you know, our country, when you read the history of why our nation was founded by men who knew the Bible. It was founded on the Judeo-Christian ethic, no matter what some of those woke people tell you. Read it for yourself. You can always read it yourself. But our country has been on the mountaintop for some time now. Things have been going well for quite a while. And as a nation, we seem to have forgotten God since things have been going so well. You know, it's an age-old story that's happened many times in the Bible. That happened with the Pilgrims as well. Things were going well, and they forgot about God. Well, now we're going back down into the valley below. We've left the mountaintops, and we're going down into the valley. Many have been predicting now that we need to prepare because tough times are lying ahead for us in the valley. You know what? The Arameans found out that the God on the mountain is still God in the valley. And we'll discover that too. Perhaps you've been on the mountaintop in your life and everything is going well and you're living good, but now you're living in the valley below and things are getting hard. Things are getting tough and very difficult. It's been that way for many people these last couple years. If that's you, remember that the God on the mountaintop is still the God in the valley below, and he has promised to be with you through whatever you have to go through. Well, as I close this out, let me just share with you the words to a song that was written by a man by the name of Tracy Dart. When I first heard this song many years ago, John Starnes sang a beautiful version of it. So let me just share the words, and only just one little verse of it I'll share with you. Beautiful song, you can look it up. It's called God on the Mountain. For the God on the mountain is still God in the valley. When things go wrong, he'll make them right. And the God of the good times is still God in the bad times. The God of the day is still God in the night. The bottom line is God no matter where you go. And he'll see you through. He'll see you through whatever you must go through. Amen. You have a great and blessed week. Somebody said it's going to get cold tonight. That's all right. Just put on another blanket. Okay? Have a great time. Have a great week.